Hello, sewing friends. Welcome to day 2 of the Vlogmas Sewing Challenge. And welcome back to the channel where we take boring, everyday items and turn them into handmade treasures. If you're new here, welcome to the most fun corner of the internet. Or if you're a returning viewer, you already know you're my favorite kind of person. Today we are making something every kitchen needs, but this time around with a twist. And this is the hanging kitchen towel. You know that kind that doesn't mysteriously vanish into the laundry abyss, right? Now, before you think, no, I don't want to make another complicated project, let me tell you this. This one is super easy. No buttons, no Velcro, and definitely no head scratching moments where you wonder what actually went wrong. We're keeping this simple, functional, and stylish like we always do. And I promise that by the end of this video, you'll be a pro at making these towels. They are perfect for your kitchen or as gifts for that one friend that always feels something when they cook. You know who I'm talking about, right? Now you realize that they stay exactly where you put it, no slipping off oven handles or ending up on the floor. Because they're cute enough to make your kitchen look like you got your life put together. Now let's get our supplies together. Don't worry if you're a beginner, I'll walk you through every single step. Here's what you need to make this magic happen. Don't worry, the list is just short and sweet. You can use a ready-made kitchen towel, some toweling fabric or even microfiber fabric if you are feeling fancy. Basically, anything absorbent works. So raid your cleaning closets. Next, you need cotton fabric for the top and the band. This is your chance to add a pop of color or match your kitchen decor. Next, you need a spool of matching thread and a pair of scissors. Now let's get sewing. Alright, starting with the towel itself. So you're going to grab your towel or fabric or whatever you're using, and then you're folding it lengthwise. Now we're going to cut it right down the middle. So if you notice that this is a very long fabric, so depending on what you have, you would know if you should cut this in two or not. If you're using maybe a 12-inch by 12-inch towel or fabric, then it's a no to cut. But if you're using something around maybe like 25 inches long, 20 inches would even work. I believe 18 inches should work as well. Long, you could actually cut that in. So that means you're going to be having like 9 inches, 10 inches, or 12 inches long. So I'm cutting mine now into, I can't remember the length of this as at the time I was making. So super easy, nothing fancy, just fold in two and yeah, just cut right down the middle. Cut that out like you're slicing pizza. No, sorry, that's just a joke. Yeah, so once you're done, like as you can see right now, you would notice that some I'm doing this for people that might want to be super fancy. Yeah, I want to use my rotary cutter. If you want to use your rotary cutter, you want to do something more precise, just measure the length of that towel and then get the middle on your tape measure on your ruler, then mark down the center. When you're done doing that thing, you can go ahead and be fancy. Use your rotary cutter. But for those that are using a pair of scissors just like I'm doing, I'm going to go ahead to just pin the open edges, that's the bottom parts of the towel, so nothing shifts. So when you're done, you can do this is optional. You don't have to do this. When you're done, you can just go ahead and then cut in two halves. So once you've got your two halves, set one aside. We're only working with one piece today, unless you're feeling super ambitious and you want to double the fun. So yeah, we're just setting that aside. But just to let you know that if you have something long, you could make two lovely and cute styles out of just one. So now that we have done this, you would notice that I just folded this towel in two along the width. And why am I doing this? I'm doing this so that I can get the center. So as soon as I get the center notch, if you do not want to notch, you can use a marker. Next up, we're going to be making our pleats. So this is where your towel gets a personality upgrade. What you're going to do is you're going to be measuring 2.5 inches from both edges. You'll see what I'll be doing now. Measure and mark. So after measuring the 2.5 inches from both sides, you're going to be checking what is left in the middle. That's the distance between the 2.5 mark and the center. So I've gone ahead to check and I have 5 inches from the 2.5 mark to the center, and I now measured 2 inches from the 2.5 inch mark on both sides. You could just get the center of that distance and then just mark from there. But because I just wanted more, because the moment if I marked at the center, that part may get shorter. The top may get shorter. The top of the towel may get shorter. But I just wanted, something a bit wider. But depending on what you want, just describe. If you want it just exactly as mine, then mark two. Mark two, or just make sure you first get the what you have in the middle and then take whatever you want to take out. So because I had 5, if you divide that into 2, that's 2.5. So I decided to use 2 instead of 2.5. If you divide that and you have 7, you can decide to use 3 instead of 3.5. Whatever works for you. So now you remember we marked 2.5 inches first, right? So what we're doing with 2.5 inches now, we are folding from the edge, from the outer edge to the 2.5 mark. That means you're folding so that the wrong sides are together. Mind you, all the marks that we've been making has been on the wrong side of our fabric. So I'm just spinning in place so nothing shifts. Or you can do whatever you like, because at this point, after we're done, we're going to be pressing with the hot iron to make sure everything stays in place. So, but just so you can see what we're doing, I'm pinning the fold or the pleat in place for taking it to my ironing board for pressing. So now we're done folding both sides of this towel. We now have the 2-inch marks and the center mark. So remember the 2-inch mark that we had, that I was telling you that you needed to divide the distance between the 2.5 mark and the center into. So that 2-inch mark, you're going to pick that up and fold on that mark. Just like this. Fold on that mark, then take that fold to meet the center mark. You can you're not clipping. You can pin in place, or you can also clip in place. I feel clipping too would also work. Yeah, so you can just pin that in place, and then you repeat with the other side. So you're just going to take that mark, that's the 2-inch mark, or whatever mark you made earlier, fold on that mark, then take that fold to meet center mark. And then, like I'm doing, you can go ahead to pin in place too. Okay, so we're done pinning in place so that nothing moves around. Then when you turn this to the right side, you notice you have these beautiful pleats or folds made. We're going to go ahead and press with a hot iron. Be careful if you're using a microfiber fabric. Be careful, check the settings of your pressing iron to make sure this does not burn. When I tried with my first sample, I almost burnt my fabric. So once the pleats are in place, go straight to basting. A simple straight stitch across the top will hold everything together. Then we're going to get to cutting the top and the towel band. So with the towel prepped and pleated, we're now going to measure the final width of the towel. I've gone ahead to measure mine and it measures 6 inches. You need to measure your towel to know what it gives you, because that is going to determine how you're going to cut the top and the band. So for the top, you're going to be cutting 15 inches long by whatever you had from your pleated width plus 1 inch, and that should give you the width of your top. For the width, you're going to be cutting whatever you got from the width of your pleated towel plus 1.5 inches, then by 8 inches long. This means since my towel measures 6 inches wide, my towel band would therefore measure 8 inches long by 7.5 inches wide. Remember, we're adding 1.5 to the width for the towel band. As you can see, I have 8 inches already. I'm going to divide this in half. Remember, the towel band measures 8 inches long. So I'm going to get the center along the length. So what I'm going to do right now is to fold my both row edges towards the mark that I just drew. Then I'm going to press with a hot iron and fold again to have this. So this is a 4-way fold. By the time I'm done, I'm going to have just a 2-inch long band. I just brought this back from my ironing board and it's all folded and well pressed. I'm going to top stitch both long edges. As soon as top stitching is done, this is where I bring back my top piece. So if your fabric is directional like mine, you might want to just place your fabric right in front of you to see what direction faces you. So make sure it's facing you in the right direction and pick up that the part that is considered the top piece at this point and fold in two along the width so that you can get the center. The center you can simply notch or use a fabric marker to mark the center. You're marking the center so that you do not miss the direction of that fabric when you're, doing the final assembly. You will get what I mean very soon. Like using a non-directional fabric, then this might be nothing. So I've gone ahead to mark this at the top of this fabric. The next thing we're going to do is to fold the fabric into along the length to find the center along the length of the fabric. So I'm going to notch both sides. You're going to see me notching that right away. So remember, earlier it was the width, now is the length. And you see why we're doing this shortly. So you're going to fold this again. And notch. Both sides notched. Still making sure that your fabric is facing you in the correct direction. You're going to bring back the band piece. So check where you would like how you like the band piece to be shown, especially for the front. Which direction would you prefer? So that's what I'm actually doing right now. I want this particular direction to be facing up. So you're going to take the bottom of your band, wherever you want to be at the bottom of the band. You place the bottom of that band on the notch that you made earlier. So what I'm doing here is the bottom of my band is right at that notch. So that means the bottom of my band stops at the notch. And then you would pin the band to the top piece on both sides. And then you're going to notice that the band is quite wider than the band. That's intentional. You'll see why we did that. We're going to be basting this in place. And when we're done basting, you'll bring your pleated towel back. So what we're doing with this is you're going to find the center of this pleated towel, right? And you're going to place your towel on the notch you made earlier at the top of your top piece, right? And then match the centers. When you match the centers, you will notice that you have about half an inch each on both sides. So this was why we added 1 inch to the width of our pleated towel. What we're doing right now is I keep saying clipping, but we're actually pinning the towel to the top piece. We're clipping it to the top edge of the top piece, and then we're going to paste that in place. We're going to be basting at about 1/4 of an inch from the edge. Now that we're finished pasting the towel to the top piece, we're going to bring that back and we're going to be folding the top piece along the length. So you're folding the bottom part of this top piece on the band that we basted earlier. Make sure you are not folding the band in any way. You're only just folding the bottom. That means you're just folding the other half of the top piece on top of the band. And then you're going to pin in place. Repeat with the other side. While you're at it, make sure you do not um, hold your band, you know, in any way, because we decided to make the band long, wider than the top piece intentionally. You'll see why shortly. So I just went ahead to stitch this at about 2.5 inches from the band. So why I do this is so that the band is already stitched and just a bit below that band as well. You're not going to turn your piece, this panel, and you notice that your towel is facing up back again. You roll it in and then you fold the other half of your top piece to meet the edge where we basted the towel to the other time. So make sure both edges are aligned on both sides, and then you pin in place. Repeat with the other side as well. Make sure you do not catch your towel in this spinning adventure. Pin. And then continue all the way to the middle till this is all pinned. So while you're doing that, you can go ahead to push your towel down. So when it's all pinned, you realize that the towel is now sandwiched between both top edge and bottom edge of the top piece. You're now going to stitch the this particular edge, and when you're done stitching, you're going to be stitching at about 3/8 of an inch from the edge. Now that you're done stitching, bring back the panel to your table. Then remember that when we're trying to baste the towel to the top piece, we had about 1/2 inch left on both sides. What we're doing at this point is this particular edge that we just stitched, we're now going to take the 1/2 inch left on the sides of the towel the other time. We'll fold that edge onto the towel. You'll be able to feel the towel, so that way you can fold. Make sure you do not fold the towel. You're only folding the remaining 1/2 inch fabric left on both sides. So the reason you're doing this is to fold your seam allowance, so that when you turn the towel out to the right side, you have a clean sewing allowance. So you're just going to run your sewing machine again along that seam that you sewed earlier. Remember, we did not finish sewing the remaining sides. That's the from below the band to where we just finished stitching. This is where you're going to turn your towel out from to the right side. Gently push the towel out and then pull steadily. Push and pull. Push and pull till you finally birth your towel. When your towel is out, you realize that we have you know, both sides of the top is open, and then you notice that the seam allowance is easier to fold because it just comes folded automatically because of what we did. And our towel too is nicely folded on the side. So you notice that the folds on the towel match the folds of the top piece. We're going to press both sides of the top piece. Press it well so that everything stays or lays nice and flat. So I just brought this back from my ironing board and everything is well pressed. At this point, we're going to be top stitching around the top piece. Top stitch around the top piece. You're going to start from one side of your top piece. It's advisable to start from, the one of the holes from where we turned our towel. And so I'm just showing you how you're going to do your top stitching. Make sure that your stitches are neat and professional. And just like that, your hanging towel is complete. I've now finished top stitching. Everything looks good. No buttons, no velcro, just pure functional fabulousness. This is perfect for wiping your hands, catching spills, or just looking pretty in your kitchen. And the best part, you made it yourself. I hope you enjoyed this project as much as I did. If you try it out, please share your creations on Instagram and tag me. I love to see your work. Just so you know how this is attached to the handle of your oven. This is your finished towel, and that's the handle of your oven. You're going to be folding the towel around the handle of your oven. And as you can see, the band is actually on the back of the towel. Then you just fold the remaining parts of the towel, just slip it into that band and then keep pulling out until everything stays nice and flat. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and leave a comment below with your thoughts. What projects do you think we are tackling next? Until next time, keep sewing and stay creative. Bye for now.